All right, guys, so I'm back and we are going to wrap this rock track up. This simple rock track going to be done in, hopefully I'll see if I can do this as quick as I can. Maybe we can do it within an hour and be in and out, have this track wrapped up. Now, of course, what I always do is I usually do one or two actually two or three mixes at least. That first mix is usually just I call it like a board mix, or it's just a rough kind of. It usually nearly always has something to tweak, because one of the best assets that you have is your ears, and so when you have fresh ears, you hear everything's just so much more clear. And coming back to the next day and then being like, oh, the guitars are too loud or the drums are too bassy or something, you can tweak that really easy, and it sounds. Those having fresh ears is just everything. So if we're mixing for the next hour and kind of I'm kind of editing and mixing, and I'll do a tiny little bit of mastering at the end. I'm kind of doing it all. If I do it within an hour, or I might have said in my last video that try and give your ears a break every hour. It usually takes me about an hour before I'm starting to. I'm not hearing as clear, or as good as I would. So let's dive in. Enough talk, and let's dive in and finish this track. All right, let me shrink this down. Okay, so here we are. We got our tracks ready. Everything's going. Let's just. Actually, I need headphones so it doesn't sound weird. Cool. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start off with a fill on the drums. So this is what I do, and I'm going to try and remember to yell out a bunch of shortcuts to you guys. But if you're using Pro Tools, you're going to make sure you click on this little thing up the top here, which means that enable the shortcuts. So I'm going to press minus key, and that makes this track go to those notes. But let's go back. Actually, I'm just going to, and then I press F4 for grid up here. F4 for grid, because then I'm going to be able to cut right on the grid, and I'm going to use this same fill right at the beginning. We'll see what it sounds like. Too big. Shows. Too much. I don't like the toms either. So I'm going to actually bring them down to snare. That's it. I like that. So just a little fill at the beginning there, and we just looking at my track here. Let's go ahead and make sure we clean up these electric guitars. I'm just gonna. You got to get these tight. You got to make sure these tight, and I'm gonna make sure these electric guitars are nice and tight. So I'll try and yell out the shortcuts as I said. So. But whatever DAW you're using, use your own. Find out what the shortcuts are. So for me, B is cut, and then I'm just going to move this over to there to make that fit. I'm also going to edit the bass at the same time. Okay, the bass is here, down there. All right, and now you've got to always do these little fades, because if you don't, then you'll get little pops. If I scroll in, which is Command Option parentheses, see there's a little noise there? That might create a pop. Definitely if there was a cut here, it would create a pop there. But just in case, you always just get in the habit of doing these little fades all the time. There's shortcuts for that as well, which I'll talk about in a second, but let's keep going here. Alright, so these guys here need to move. Okay, this one needs to move. You can just see it's not lined up with the other one. I'm lining up to this other guitar track. Down there, here, these two are my spares. So if something doesn't work, or I can either edit it or just grab the other one. Alright, so move, that one's a little early. Now, one other thing you can do if you want to get it really tight, you can actually trim all the space out and just put a little fade, of course. Yeah, look, this one's late here, but now looking down here, here's one that's not late, and it might be sometimes it's just easier just to grab the other one. And these ones are just a little late. Let's see, these ones, these two, just a tiny, tiny bit. You want to make it super tight. And I heard a little bit of a noise there. I don't like that. So I'm going to actually grab this one, see if that's better. Dun-dum. All right, that one's a little early. Now, okay, here's a little shortcut. If you highlight, if there's 1, 2 cuts to do, or I guess 1, 2, 3, 4 fades, you can highlight, and in Pro Tools you can push F, and it does a mini one for them all. So that works a lot of the time as well. Not always. Not this one, because I'm going to do a fade there, and then this one's got too big of a gap. If I put a fade on that, then it'll be fade. The whole thing will be weird. All right, that one's a little early. All right, and then this one. All right, that one's light again. I'm gonna grab this one. Now I wonder if that was the same loop. Same one. It doesn't matter. So what we're going to do here, we're going to copy these. So now that I've got a good one, I'm actually going to, on the grid, so I went up here to, or F4 puts that up there. I'm actually going to copy, or I should highlight, I should say highlight all these section. And I'm just going to Shift Option 3, and that condenses it all down, or consolidates all that down. And then I can just copy and paste, which is Command D. And now I know that this is not quite on the grid there. Cool, I'm going to come back to those melodies. So we can actually do I'm going to copy this, which is Command C, because over here we're going to do the same thing. And we are just going to make sure I'm on the grid. Put it here, I think that's where it starts. Copy, paste. Let's double check we're on the right one. Might be here before. I'm looking at that blue line there. That means that's the start of the measure. I think we started here. We'll see if it lines up when I paste Command V. Yep, that lined up. Make sure the ending's nice and tight. Da da da. Okay, I got a few better ones in here. I like, see how that one's short? I want them to be the same, so I'm looking at a few here. Gosh, that one's in time right there, isn't it? Did I do another one? Yeah, I did another one. No, actually, I'll just use this one then. Da da da. And this here, this could be silence. I'm just going to zoom right in. You'll see that these make the difference. So when you just make these little silence pit parts, if you want it tight, sometimes it doesn't sound. You want that noise in there, but I want this to be nice and clean and tight and quiet and clean, I guess. All right, so I think we have, oh, that's just a copy. I still got to do this part here. I'll use that spare. Another quiet section there. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So sometimes when it's done, I'll just consolidate all that. I might need to go over this section as we go towards the end, and if I'm hearing some stuff that's not quite as tight. But that part of the song is a little bit more raw. It's a little bit more like, you know, picks up, and it's kind of a bigger kind of sound. So it can be just a little bit looser, but not as, it might be too loose. We'll see. All right, so then we can just actually hide these tracks here. All right, now let's edit that bass. Make sure that bass is with the riff. Make sure those are tight. Da 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 da. Okay, this one starts a little. So I just do the fades right there with F. All right, good. Could do a few fades there. All right, so these come in, they're actually a little bit early. You can see, and this one's a little late, which makes a big gap. So let's just push this so it's a bit more early as with them. See if we can bump that up. Good, make sure these are all got fades on them. I think I missed a kick up here. There it is. Alright, so that's the first part of the bass, and I should be able to copy that. Let's just clean those up a little. Alright, so that one's, let's put it on the grid, and then I'm just going to make consolidate that so that I can use that. Again, that will be copy, and I'm probably going to put it in here, I think. I think it was one measure before. If you look back at the, when I consolidate it, this is one beat before that measure. The measure's right there. The reason I do that is because sometimes the note, I don't want to cut that note off, and there's a little bit of a hair of an attack before it comes in, so I don't want to cut it off. So that's why I do that. So that comes in here, one beat before that measure, that blue measure, right there. Does that look like it lined up when I did it? Yep, exactly the same. So great. All right, now let's turn that down a little bit. There's a plugin I like to use on bass. It's the LA2A. I use this one by Waves, but there is other ones out there, many different ones. But I like this one on bass. But all I'm doing is a bit of a compressor. Now these are optical compressors, which means they're not as fast attacking and they're a bit softer, which sounds great on bass and vocals. So because this is a little bit of a harder song, I might push it just a little bit more. But remember, -3 is the number with the compressors. If you're doing if you do more than -3, you're going to start to hear it. It's going to start to really affect the sound. So if you're not quite sure, use -3 as kind of a guide of, that's where you're kind of, -2 is not much at all. But yeah. Great. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go down to this melody thing that I've got here. We got some. Then these two, I believe they're the same thing. So I'm just going to color them the same thing. Whoops, not like that. So now I have to color everything again. All right. All right, that's fine. And then everything's colored. Change. Let's make that orange. Main electric guitars. Blue. The reason I color things are because then I can use the color as I know it's a different part, or I know that I can even look at these parts and it's so clean and so fast for me to know that those parts are together and that they're probably a certain part. So that's why I like coloring. And that's why you probably see over here I don't name these tracks as much. I should name this bass, But the reason I don't is because it takes a little bit more effort to read the word bass than see a color and see that that's the same as the other track or different than the other track. All right, so let's send these to the lead. That's down here. The lead vocal or lead melody. I just have it in my template as lead vocal, but it's the same thing, lead melody. That's going to be the the melody. So that's a little early. Very good. Okay, so now I'm just going to copy and paste this one here. Consolidate it. Copy. This is the ending here. So let's just create a couple of tracks, extra tracks. For what I just did there, I duplicated those tracks. That shortcut there is on Pro Tools is you can right click and go to duplicate, or you can what do I do? Command D. Nope, it's Shift Option D, and then you can copy it as many times as you want. So Shift Option D. All right, so let's copy these. Oh, this is way too much, but that's okay. There we go. Let's do the last half of this because I can't do as many because it's a shorter phrase. It only does it through once. So I wonder if this is right. We have a few runs here. Ba-da-dum. See if this is better. So this is the beauty of tracking it. I don't have to pull out the guitar to make sure I got a right one. I got a bunch. I got three. I got three. One for spare, and I need it to look like. So that's going to be right on there. This one's a little late. This one's definitely late. What's the other one like? I think I like that better than that second one. Actually, I'll just copy that down here. Okay, those are lined up. These two are late. Oh, and I also need these little notes here. I need one of them actually. Copy and paste. I don't need it, I think. Great. All right, cool. I don't need those other two. Get rid of them, clean it up. All right, so we have now added all the elements we want. I want to add something extra, an organ or some sort of string or some part that goes, something that's held out there. An organ would probably be good. Let's do an organ. So Shift Command N for a new track. We're going to do stereo. We're going to do instrument track. And we are going to send this to the strings. And then we're going to put an organ on there. Yeah, what kind of organ do we want to do? You know, let's have a look. I haven't opened up this stuff much. This is really cool. Let's see what they got. Come on. Looks like it's trying to think about it. Hopefully it didn't do anything weird. Uh-oh, there we go. It's because I haven't opened it for a while, I guess. Alright, so this is, I don't know if, I guess it doesn't get any smaller. You have to find a smaller. There it is, resize window. There we go, that's better. Okay, so we're going to find an organ. B3 is good. So what B3s we got? Let's see if they play. It's too nice. Let's arm this track. Yeah. We want something really distorted. Actually, I'll do something fun. I'll put a distortion on it. Let's just save this. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I want that one. So that's the sound we're going to go, but we're only going to put it on during this part and then throughout the rest of the song. Now I think this song is, gosh, I don't know what song, I don't know what key this is. Let's just see. Alright, so I'm just holding on D. I think it's in the key of D. We'll see. I think it's in the key of D. So, so all I'm doing here, and I don't call myself a piano player at all. I'm just holding on the D, and I'm just going to Actually, just thinking out loud. Let me copy this because I want this to be two different parts. There's the lead, and then there's that bridge part. So that will go down, and that will go somewhere else. That will go to just the electric guitars. That's more like these parts up here. Let's bring it up there as well. Color it purple as well. Fits more with those ones there. So all I'm doing here is I'm just playing a D and the 5th note of the scale. It's actually a D minor, I think, which is B major. No, I'm sorry. F major. F major. So F major or D minor. But I'm going to hang on a D, which is a D, and then an A. Actually, might sound something a bit cheesy there or something, but let's go ahead and quantize option 0. Oops. Yeah, option 0, and then it's 6 at a 16th. So hold on that D the whole thing, and then I just move some of the notes down. What do we go? 5th, and then just anyway, so a few different notes there. So what are we going to do here during that? I think we'll do a shaker instead. I don't think we'll add it. It sounded a bit cheesy adding piano or strings there. So sometimes I might add another guitar and do the same riff, but but a harmony of it. I could actually do something there, but with Melodyne do a harmony, but we could. Let's just try something a little bit different. I'm just duplicating those tracks because it just makes it a little bit easier when you've got a certain effect just on one on that one channel. So I have this harmonizer thing by Waves. Let's see what this sounds like. It doesn't like it. It's too heavy for it while I'm recording as well. So make sure we just say that. I'll just keep it simple. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that shaker, what I was just saying. So find my, not a shaker actually, do a tambourine. Yeah, that's what we want. So you just drag it in here. That's it there. Close this. Now we can create a there's two ways to do this. You can, well, there's a few different ways, but sometimes the quickest and easiest for me is I just duplicate that track and I just create another one. But if my CPU is having a hard time, then I'll definitely have to put that on the same track. But I'll just put it here where it comes in. Now I don't like the, by default, the shaker always comes out, shaker and tambourine come out hard left and right, but I'm actually going to put that a little bit more towards the center. It's not 100% in the center, but it's close. Cool. Okay, let's now have a listen to the drums, get the drums dialed in. So this is kind of like where drum programming comes into effect. Actually, before we do, I'm not happy with those guitar sounds. Maybe if I put some delays or something on it. What kind of delay? I use these a bit. See what that sounds like. Oh, it's not playing because this is not stereo, sorry, not solo enabled, so that means it'll go through. So this is a sound here I'm not really happy about, or frequency. It's like that. It's really clean, or so I should say, it's a really. I know it's around 2K or something. It's just sticking out too much. No, I want to put one more delay on. I'm going to put another delay that's a H delay. I like this one. We'll do maybe holes. Alright, I'm just going to put a little bit more meat into these electric guitars. Just put a little bit more mid-range. They sound a little bit thin. Alright, so we're getting the tones where we want them, but now let's have a listen to those drums with a close ear. For anything we don't like, we need to add some cymbals, maybe fix up some fills. I'm going to add one extra little note in here. I'm going to do a flam there. What a flam is when you hit the snare twice, but at different, one sticks a little bit faster than the other. Yeah, nice. And then this, that needs to be more maybe just a snare fill. Now I want to do ride. I want to go to a ride here. So what that is as a drummer you hit the cymbal and then you hit the end of it, the bell part at the beginning of it, and it goes ding tee ding tee. Just make it a little bit different. Do a bunch of snares here. Let's do a flam as well. Inland. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the song. I'm gonna add a few more snares in there just to kind of make it feel like it's building up and it's you know, getting more busy, getting more and more things happening. Let's see what that sounds like. Not sure I like that. So I don't want those delays to keep going that clear. So you can just go and automate that volume off. We can actually copy and paste that. Actually, I would probably bring that even in here. Actually, know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to just add those to the other guitar part here. So those aren't going to be on the big delay thing. The delay is going to ring out from this note here. We'll copy that one. All right, so one thing I want to do, I'm not sure I want a bit more of a punchy kick, and I really want just a little bit more punchy kick. So we're going to quickly do something a little bit different here. We're just going to copy and paste or duplicate this one more time, and we're going to find a different drum kick, different drum kit. So I have a few different versions here, and so we have a vintage rock that I'm running now, but I'm actually going to do maybe I think I'll do rock solid maybe. Let's do rock solid punchy. So you use both drum kits on the same sound, and you just pull it down, change your mixes a little bit. Yep, already 10 times better. Okay, now let's get into a little bit of mixing here. So I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm going to send. If you don't know what sends are yet, I'll quickly explain. This organ here, I want a little bit of reverb on it. So I'm going to, in the sends, this is the sends file, this is the inserts or the plugins. You send it to the bus, the reverb bus. So over here I have a green channel that has my reverb on it, and I send a little bit of this organ to that reverb, and so outcomes of this channel is just reverb. So when I play this, if I solo it, you're going to see a little bit of channel coming up here on the reverb. And so that enables me, when I turn that off and on, that enables me to send a little bit of reverb all the instruments. And it makes it all feel like it's all playing in the one room. So I definitely want to add some reverb to these ones. They might already have a bit of reverb, but I just want to put a little bit, just a little bit, like hardly anything, minus 25. I'm going to copy and paste that. So I'm sending a little bit of reverb for those guys. None in the bass. Bass doesn't, you don't need any bass for, no reverb for the bass. And just the shake. I'm not going to do the drums. So just the drums. Otherwise you lose the punch if it's too much reverb. So with this main riff, I'm going to pull it down. I don't want to send as much to the main riff. Now these should have a bit. I might put a bit more. They already have a lot of reverb on, so maybe too much. All right, let's listen. Okay, that cymbal's too much. Whatever that drum kit cymbal sound. All right, so we've kind of been mixing as we're going. Let's just finish up our mix and master. So as I said, this is just we're at about 53 minutes. My ears are starting to, especially in headphones, my ears are starting to tell me that they're done. So so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to walk you through. Got the reverb send out with drums. I'm just going to look at a little bit of the compression to see that it's just kissing it, just touching it. The squash drums, this is parallel compression on the drums. Really quickly, it's hardly anything in the mix, but this gets a little bit more punch into the mix. It's called the 10-2 all in. It's a trick they've been using forever on the LA-76. And then the bass, just make sure it's touching. Piano, we don't have any piano. Get rid of that. The next one we have electric guitar, and then everything gets sent to the mix. So I'm going to be having a look at the mix here. This is a mix bus, and keep in mind what you're doing is with these buses, you're kind of summing all of the parts or all of the electric parts into a stereo glued track. You're kind of like putting things together as you're going. Just imagine if you had 100 parts to something you're building. The smartest thing you would do to put groups of parts together. This is this part. This goes with if you're building a car or something, and these are all these parts here. This is the, and then then it's a lot easier to just manage. So that's why those groups are really good. So keep going here. So look at the drums. So the organ, I don't want anything low down there. I want the kick and I want the bass all down there. I don't want any of that low stuff. So have a look. There's something happening in this channel, just having it selected. So I just want to cut that out. Just have it cut out, and then the organ comes in, and there's no muddiness. It just makes it so much clearer. Now, I don't know if you heard that, but just moving from 30, 35, I think it was, to 91, all of a sudden that bass just starts popping through. This is the electric guitar channel. I do not need those electric guitars down there. I want the bass. That's why I put the bass in there. So as I move this up, this is a high pass filter. So as I move this up, all the highs are going to be passing through, not the lows. So and I don't need any of the lead guitar, the melody. I don't need any of that down there. See all that stuff coming up there? That creates a muddy mix. So this is a big key to start doing with all of your tracks. Very important. One little trick I'm going to show you, save. I think it needs a reverse cymbal there. So what I'm going to do is you go grab your drums, just grab any part of it there. We're going to mute a lot of this. We're looking for a cymbal. There we go, there's a cymbal. Alright, so we're just going to grab this cymbal, just put it down onto, this is a really cool trick if you don't know it. So we're going to do a reverse cymbal and just create it with what we've got. So create a stereo track. Now we're going to drag this down. And that was a long one. Didn't need to do that long, but anyway. So there it is. So that's our actually I just want to trim this here. Get rid of that. Now we have a cymbal hit. Let's make sure it's on the drum bus. Turn it down because it's going to be pretty loud. Now we're just going to copy and paste it. Copy, or I duplicate it. So Command D. So then we're going to go up here to audio. Gosh, I have a shortcut set for it now. I can't remember where to find it. Maybe it's in other. Yeah, it's in other. So, and then reverse. See, F19 is my shortcut. Brings this little up, and we're just going to reverse that one, that second one. And we're just going to drag this on the front of it. And we'll just move this around so that if you can kind of see where it crescendos up, but then it kind of fades out, we actually want to do it on the absolute peak. So we're going to do it right here. Let's see if that sounds like. So I do want to get that first little hit on the attack. This might need to come in earlier. That's what we want. We'll just do the tiniest little fade there. Alright, so then just trim it to the grid so it's very easy to kind of move around. And I'm just going to put a little bit of reverb on that. So now we're going to add that to our song, our mix. Let's just consolidate that. So that's Shift Option 3. That's our reverse cymbal. Now we're going to do one at the end, and we're going to do one in the middle part here. So that's great. So that's where it comes in there. So let's just make sure we've got, highlight this here. Then we'll use one over here as well. Good. All right, cool. So now let's go down to the final mixing. Right. Okay, so let's just have, you can visualize and just see your mixes is not too unbalanced. Now it might have a little bit more low end because that's what we want in this song, but if it's too, you can use your eyes. I already know that it's probably pretty close. So I could use a little bit of high end on the electric guitars, maybe. All right, now we're getting ready to, I'm ready to kind of bounce this down. So let's go through the mastering chain very quickly. Mastering is just making things, just kind of clearing it all up, and you want to make sure you do your fade at the beginning. That's the first thing you do with mastering. Make sure you've got your ins and outs set and that they are exactly what you want. So let's have a listen. Where do we want it to start? That's where I want to start. So if you didn't do that, you didn't master it. That's one of the biggest things. If you started back here at the beginning, silence, silence, that's not pro. Sometimes I move my chain up here to find out where the end of the song is, just to make it a little easier. And the ending of the song to make sure it's a nice fade. I like to do long endings. There's nothing worse than cutting that cymbal off. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play it and I'm going to turn up my headphones really loud. So as it fades out, I'm going to turn up my headphones so I can hear any scratches or anything, because this is how you make it pro. Yeah, love it. That was a perfect one. That was good. So that's one thing. So that's the first thing you do. Now let's get down to the just do when you're doing your mastering, just do light things. The saying I always use is many hands make light work. Many compressors, many EQs, many different things doing little bits make the whole job a lot easier. The mastering job, if you do anything, you don't have to do anything heavy. So let's just have a look at a couple of my go-tos. Now, of course, this changes a little bit, but the idea is put a compressor on, do a bit of an EQ, and then do a maybe some MS stuff. But if you don't know what that is, don't worry too much. Don't worry about it too much. Don't get lost in that, because you can ruin your mix really easy with MS. So I will explain just a tiny bit. MS is your mids and sides, or mono stereo. Mids and sides is a better way to say it, I think. But so this just makes it, it gives you a little bit of sparkle. I have a preset already where I start. I got a little bit of +5 of a little bit of the higher frequency, 77.2. Take out the lows. I take out in the mid section. I take out about a dB of the 11K. So it just makes it sparkle a little bit on the sides. And I don't think I also do it. There's a mono maker on this, which is really, really cool. I have that set at about 144. We'll see how that sounds. And then I have another compressor doing a light bit of work. Love these compressors here. And I've dialed in another Steve start. So again, when I'm mastering, I don't want to do the -3 anymore. I want to do like no more than -1. So very small touches to it. And then my limiter. Limiting is very important. I just want to make sure that I'm not doing any more than -3 there. All right. Okay, so I'm going to do my first mix down now. So we're going to go from the beginning, from that beginning there, right on the right second. I should say an 8. I think it's the 16th before. And let's get ready to bounce because I'm ready to take a break. We've been going for about an hour and 12. So um, yeah, but so hopefully that helps. Let's go ahead and I'll just bounce that down while I'm here. So just Command Option B, and we just want to make sure it's interleaved, and we are going to, let's give it a title, strong till the end. Gives you that strong kind of feel. And yeah, so then we're ready to bounce. So hopefully guys, hopefully that's helped you. It's very fun, very easy to do these kind of tracks, and they need them all the time. And it sounds really big, and we did this track in a couple of hours, and of course I've done so many of them, so I know exactly what to do. But when you're first starting, you know, it could take you a lot longer just to figure out and learn how to do this. So it could take you a lot longer. I think it took me probably 5, 6, 7 hours to do these kind of tracks when I first started. So it's totally okay. Just keep going, keep doing it, and it just gets more fun and easier, and just all different varieties and stuff. So hopefully this helps, and yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.